If you're dealing with unexplained bloating or brain fog or crazy digestive symptoms that just won't go away and you know that you don't have an alien growing inside of you, you may be dealing with a parasite infection. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 science-backed methods that you can use to eliminate parasites naturally. And I'll share the links to these studies in the description below so you can dig into them a little bit more, and you might be surprised about some of these things. It's not just about killing off parasites, it's about setting up the environment so that they can't survive and thrive. So step number 1 is to fix your foundation. The foundation of keeping these bad guys out of the body is your digestive system. So it's very common today for someone not to be making enough stomach acid for a wide variety of reasons. And this study here on proton pump inhibitors and the risk of enteric infection shows us that that stomach acid is the main barrier. It's the front door. So when all these varmints are coming in on the food that we're eating and we don't have that stomach acid there, the front door is open. They come in, they're like, this is nice, let's have a keg party, let's raise our kids. And they create all kinds of havoc. So we need that stomach acid there, not just to break down our food and get the nutrients out of the food our body needs, we need it as the barrier to keep the bad guys out. It's also very common for someone's bile to become too thick and sticky and not flow out of their gallbladder correctly. Now, bile has a lot of antimicrobial properties to it, but there's some functions that go on with the digestive system and hormones like cholecystokinin or CCK, like all the cool kids call it, that get triggered when this stomach acid leaves the stomach and triggers the gallbladder to drop down this bile. But it also facilitates mast cell degranulation that kind of helps everything move through. It helps that motility and to clear all these bad guys out through the system and push them out the back door where they're supposed to go. So if you're having any digestive symptoms, odds are pretty high that either stomach acid is too low or bile is not flowing correctly. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in the digestive system, but those are the most common malfunctions. I'm not going to dig too deep into these. I talk about those in a lot of other videos, but I will put links in the description below for our video on 10 signs of poor bile flow and 10 signs of low stomach acid so you can see if that might be a problem for you. And then I'll also put videos in those sections on steps to improve bile flow or fix low stomach acid. But it's really important to fix that foundation or a lot of these other steps are not going to be effective. And even if they are, the front door is open. The bad guys are coming right back in. Step number 2 are some lifestyle factors that we can implement, with the first one being sauna treatments. And this could be like an infrared sauna or even a steam sauna. What you're trying to do is just increase that body temperature and set in what we call a hyperthermia situation, which is where you're kind of creating like a mild fever. And this has been shown to weaken parasites. But you're also creating sweating, which helps the body push toxins out. And a lot of the symptoms that we experience from parasites come from the toxins that they're putting out into our body. So if we can take steps to help push those toxins out, like sweating more or improving bile flow so our body can detox correctly, this can improve symptoms while we're working to get these bad guys out. So even just some type of sauna treatment, 20 to 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week, can be really beneficial. And so can any type of lymphatic drainage therapies that you could do. That could be things like, dry brushing or even rebounding on those little mini trampoline things. We want to get that lymph moving correctly so we can remove a lot of these toxins in this system. And the third lifestyle factor is to boost your immune system any way that you can. That means reducing any stress in your life that can kind of shut that down, reducing sugar and high carb, high starch intake that has the ability to block some of those pathways. And I'm not going to dig too far into that, but I will put a link in the description below for our video on how to get over a cold fast that really shows you how to set your immune system up so that it can fight off these invaders. So if you're getting a lot of colds or you feel like a cold lasts too long, you're going to want to take some of these steps to boost up your immune system so that it can help get rid of these bad guys. But managing stress, making sure cortisol is not going too high to restrict immune function, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, all these things are very important. Step number 3 are some anti-parasitic foods that can really help. I'll put a link in the description below to this video on garlic's antimicrobial properties, but if you can get 2 or 3 cloves of fresh garlic and crush those fresh and then let them sit there for about 10 minutes to let that allicin compound inside the garlic really be activated, and then just take it. You can just wash it down with some water. If you have to mix it with a little bit of honey to do it, that's okay, but I just kind of like to do it while I'm eating and mix it with my food, and I have like a really garlicky bite of food and then just let that go down. But garlic can be very helpful, and so can pumpkin seeds and papaya seeds. Papaya seeds have some anti-parasitic activity, but with pumpkin seeds, they have some compounds that can actually paralyze some forms of parasites, which makes it difficult for them to clamp onto the side of your intestinal tract, and then you can move them out of the system. I've even heard stories from people that have told me like, yeah, my grandparents just used to eat pumpkin seeds all day for a day, and then they would take something to create some type of diarrhea, laxative type movement to wash everything out, and they would feel a whole lot better. So I'm not telling you to do that, but I find that if we can sometimes listen to natural steps that have been used for generations with success, we can sometimes find some really helpful steps in our own life. And step number 4 is what's called the Hulda protocol for parasites. And this is like a 3-herb protocol that's been used for parasite elimination for decades with a lot of success. And we've used this in our network of health professionals for about 15 years with a lot of success. And I'll put some links in the description below talking about each of these compounds. But the 3 compounds that are used are wormwood, black walnut hulls, and cloves. And her protocol kind of went through like this ramp up stage where you start off very low and you increase the dose each day on some of these properties and go through a specific amount of days. I'll put a link in the description below to this protocol just so you can see it. I'm not telling you to use this. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you any medical advice or telling you what supplements to take. I'm basically a professional stand-up comic turned nutrition author, because when I lost my voice for 8 years, 23 different doctors couldn't help me figure that out. So I had to dig for my own answers, and now I take what I've learned and I teach health professionals how to help their clients fix the actual underlying causes of problems instead of just covering up the symptoms. So you can talk to the practitioner that you're working with to see if this is an appropriate protocol for you, but we've seen a lot of success with this protocol. And step number 5 can make this protocol even more effective, which is to break down biofilms. A lot of these microorganisms that get into the body have the ability to hide behind these biofilms and protect themselves. So we use a supplement called Biocidin. We're not the manufacturer of this supplement. This is just something we use with our clients. I'll put a link in the description below where you can find it on Amazon and most health food stores. But it's very good at breaking down those biofilms, so then these other tools can be used to wipe out the parasites and get them out of the body. Most people just start off with a couple drops in some water and they might work up to a higher dose, but it can be more effective if you take it about 30 minutes before you're going to take some type of anti-parasitic herb. And then step number 6 is to use some kind of binders that can help get a lot of these toxins out of the body. A lot of times when we're killing off bad guys like this, they expel all of the toxins that they're carrying around inside of them at once as they die off. So now a lot of those symptoms can really be magnified. So if we can use binders, like activated charcoal or maybe some bentonite clay to get some of these toxins out, that can help relieve some of those symptoms. This is something that we really just want to do temporarily, because these things can also remove minerals from the body. So you might also want to use some mineral supplement while you're using these. And I find that these work best if you can take them away from food, not with food. And that can make that a little bit more effective. But those are the 6 easy steps. Just fixing any digestive malfunctions so that environment is not set up for parasites to thrive and makes it to where they don't want to hang out there. We want to make sure that digestion is working correctly. Step number 2 were those lifestyle factors like sauna or sweating and lymph drainage and boosting your immune system any way that you can. And step numbers 4 and 5 were those anti-parasitic foods and that anti-parasitic protocol. And then we moved into making sure we're breaking down those biofilms and then using some kind of binders to get a lot of those toxins out of the body. So I hope that that's helpful, and if you've used other steps that have helped you get rid of parasites, be sure to put those in the comments so we can share those with other people. And right now, if you are dealing with digestive symptoms, you can jump over and check out our video on full digestive reset, and that'll walk you through the process of fixing those malfunctions. I can't wait to hear about your results.